Oh, for me? You shouldn't have.
The weather outside is frightful, but the gamers are so delightful.
What you know about gaming?
During this chilly time of year, it only seems right to bundle up by a roaring fire and get some fat McTwist with Tony Hawk. There's so many games out there that feel so warm and inviting, like getting a big hug from a good friend. These games just want you to relax and stay a while, and maybe beat up a few street punks before you go.
Whether it be through a chill atmosphere, insane immersion, cool music, or just some good old-fashioned relaxing gameplay, we're gonna talk about a few games that make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So, grab yourself a hot drink, a crusty Minecraft blanket, and let me tell you about why Kirby 64 is the greatest game ever created.
That shit's not even true.
If you're just trying to kick back, relax, and maybe cop a smile on that face, Kirby games have always got your back. I've been playing it since the premiere of Zoe 101, and I'm still playing it even after I've grown a whole ass man beard and everything. So you know I'm not lying when I tell you this series goes a little hard. But as a true blue Kirby simp who hasn't showered in 14 weeks, I gotta say in my all-powerful objective opinion that Dreamland 3 is without a doubt one of the most relaxing games in the entire franchise. At every turn it feels like it's trying to give you a big ol' smile. It's got this adorable crayon pastel style that makes the entire world look all the more lively. The big gimmick of this game is that Kirb's got his 6 homies, who he can pair up with to complete certain objectives in each stage. These might be not stepping on the flowers, getting this clown boy's shapes back, or exterminating the Metroids for Samus Aran. It feels like you're going on this relaxing adventure to make everyone as happy as possible, surrounded by all these cute characters that make you feel bad for not taking them with you. Speaking of those guys, they bring this crazy combo system to the game, where different copy abilities can mix with each friend, creating whole new ones. A lot of the fun of this game is seeing all these wacky combinations you can make. Like check out this one where you combine electricity and the green bird to turn him into a remote controlled missile. Or this one that makes Kirby and his octopus GF swing around and have a good time. Just good vibes all around. But this wasn't even enough for HAL Labs, because they came back in 2000 with Kirby 64 and the Crystal Shards, and took the ability combination idea to its peak.
Muffin is a tabby, Buddy is a retriever, and Kirby is, well, Kirby is just Kirby.
Guys, you're not gonna believe this, but those Mad Lads actually let you mix 2 different abilities together to get a whole ass new one. With the right combinations, you can get a big fire sword, a double-bladed lightsaber, or become a Swiss Army knife, or even a refrigerator. Figuring out what ability combos you need to get all the crystal shards in every stage is such a good time, with that classic Kirby charm just oozing out of every stage and cutscene, making it easily one of the most pleasant and wholesome times you can ever have with a game. A couple months back, me and my buddy were bored at like 2 AM, so we sat in his unfinished basement and 100% completed the whole game in one sitting, passing the controller back and forth between every level. Man, shout out to you, brother, you know who you are. A full 22 years past its release, and this game is still giving me good times. But before we move on from the Kirby series, I'd be a total dumbass not to mention one of the coziest games ever created, Kirby's Epic Yarn. If you thought the other games were cute, just look at this. Every inch of this game, from the enemies to the backgrounds, are covered in yarn and fabric. It's like the video game equivalent of a warm blanket, and I love it. Even though you can't even die in this game, you'll always be so captivated by everything it's throwing at you that it hardly even matters. The level design and mechanics are always changing, always finding new ways to make you happy. And don't even get me started on that 2-player mode. Always comes in clutch if you and your friend just want to relax and unwind to some relaxing gameplay and music. Or you can make it a totally miserable shit experience for both of you if you wanna. The sky's pretty much the limit.
Oh, what the hell?
But if the old Kerbone isn't enough for your cozy platformer fix, might I suggest one of the best ones around. I'm gonna be real, if you don't like this game, we can't be friends. Klonoa may have had like 3 games to his name, but damn, talk about quality over quantity. I always find myself going back to Klonoa Door to Phantomile if I want to play Kirby, but cry my eyes out in the process. The entire game's got this dope looking 2.5D style and breezy vibe going for it, complete with a soundtrack filled with boner jams left and right. Definitely don't pass this one up. Oh yeah, and right as I was editing this video, that new remaster thing got announced, so that's a colossal W for the human race.
What's this? A letter addressed to me? A fish's paradise?
Dear Fish, I love your show, but do you think you could talk about more JRPGs? We all know about your crippling monkey boy thirst and non-pussy having ass, so you don't have to hide it from your fans. Sincerely, Davy Jones. The best part about most Final Fantasy games, beyond just the characters and crackhead storylines, are all the towns your gang visits along the way. They go such a long way in painting what these worlds are actually like, seeing firsthand how all these wacky people live their lives. There's something so comfortable and relaxing about these places, whether it be from the locals themselves or the nice music you always get to hear along with them. And out of all the games, Final Fantasy IX has got the best ones without a doubt. I've gone on record before saying that FF9 is one of the coziest games I've ever played, and this is mostly due to how lovable and memorable the cast is. But a lot of that weight is carried on those welcoming ass towns, when they're not being destroyed by actual space lasers at least. Like, how could you forget about the Dark City Treno? A town where everyone is so damn sleazy that the sun just straight up noped out of there forever, leaving it only to be illuminated by street lamps and dingy torches. Or what about the Black Mage Village, where a bunch of Kuja's black mages decided they didn't want to fight in wars anymore, and would rather chill out for the short time they have left. This place is undeniably kind of depressing, but seeing all these guys set up their own community and support each other is heartwarming and inspiring. And then there's my absolute favorite RPG town of all time, the completely optional Daguerreo. It's this huge library that scholars from all over come to visit, except with the catch that it's in a dank-ass cave with water flowing through it, giving the whole place this relaxing waterfall ambience. The shelves are so tall you have to pull levers and raise pillars just to get the book you want. My favorite part about the whole place is that they even got hammocks set up for people to fall asleep in while they're reading ancient tombs and shit. And your homies can all take a nap in them to restore health and magic. If that's not the coziest thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is. I could go on and on talking about FF9's towns, with their active time events where you get to see what your friends are up to and all the wacky people you meet, but I think y'all get the point. So much love and care was put into each and every one to make them so unique and memorable. I played this game years ago and I still think about sleeping in the book cave, so you know they did something right. And now that I think about it, most JRPGs in general have a very cozy energy to them. You just get comfortable for a 50+ hour journey, complete with the power of friendship, an entire world you get to explore. Xenoblade Chronicles is really coming to mind right now. What with its outgoing and positive cast of characters, a cool-ass world that takes place on two massive giants striking battle poses, and an amazing soundtrack composed in part by the old Squaresoft MVP, Yasunori Mitsuda. There's so much stuff to do in this game that it feels endless, like doing all those quests to rebuild Colony 6 and seeing its slow growth, getting strong enough to beat all those overpowered enemies throughout all the maps, finding all the adorable heart-to-heart locations. It's just a full game that sucks you in for hours on end. And if we're talking about cozy JRPGs, of course your boy's gotta talk about the eternal GOAT Persona 4.
We are living our lives.
The game literally opens up with a message telling you to relax and enjoy the game, sending you off to make cool friends in a cozy little small town. Maybe solve some murders with them and fight abominations inside of a tube TV. You really get into the groove of the daily grind, being a real Japanese high school student, hanging out with friends, killing demons in a strip club, and coming back home to spend some quality time with your fam. More than any other Persona game, I feel like 4 really goes the extra mile to get you attached to your party members. There's so many little hangouts and events that the cast have that are totally unrelated to all this supernatural stuff going on. It makes them feel like a real friend group of teenagers just going about their lives. Before you barely know anything about the party members in 4, you have to go through a themed dungeon related to their deepest insecurities. So seeing them all accept and support each other through everything is so legitimately heartwarming, making these guys one of the tightest and most believable friend groups in any game I've ever played.
Oh, thanks for the refill. God bless your soul. We'll be right back after these messages. Oh hey, you're back just in time. Just put a few new logs on the fire. I kept your seat warm for you. So, who here likes hipsters?
Night in the Woods is an indie game released in 2017, and I like it a lot. You play as a college dropout named May, who goes back to her old hometown to live with her parents. You quickly reconnect with all of May's old high school homies, who are all excited to see her, but also got their own shit to deal with since she left. You spend a lot of the game just kind of messing around the town, absorbing the welcoming autumn vibes and checking in on all these charming NPCs, like this really chill recovering opioid addict and your weird-ass astrology teacher from high school. There's also this real goofy supernatural subplot going on in the background, but it ends up being so completely overshadowed by how much more interesting your friends are. You eat pizza with them, play in a cool indie rock band together, and discover suspicious severed arms on the pavement. Real good times to be had. The writing surrounding all of their personal struggles is just so damn strong and compelling. You really get invested in Greg and Angus's relationship and want to see B get her life figured out, making this game pretty hard to put down. And y'all can already see this, but just look at that gorgeous art style. The adorable character designs and the seriously cozy looking backgrounds make this game such a relaxing experience. Despite how simple everything is, May's house looks so warm and lived in, especially that attic. The whole game just makes you want to drink a caramel macchiato while listening to Vacations and reading Scott Pilgrim. But what's cozier than hipsters in a small town with cool autumn vibes? Maybe a big ass police station filled with lab monsters.
Hey homie, you need some help?
I know some of y'all may disagree with me on this, but a game that used to scare the shit out of me is now something I go to for a relaxing evening. I've played the remake of Resident Evil 2 so many times that walking through the halls of the Raccoon City police station is almost therapeutic for me. Sure, in my first playthrough I may have pissed my pants a few times, but now that I know what to expect, all my playthroughs are about figuring out the best routes through the map and developing new strats to get through it even faster. After the horror wears off, Resident Evil 2 just becomes so addicting. Scouring all these dangerous rooms for items and juking zombos left and right, only to empty out your inventory into your ever-growing stockpile never gets old for me. After getting chased all over the place by the Supreme Gentleman and suffering through all these really tense gameplay situations, chilling in the safe room and figuring out what to do next feels like making it back home during a snowstorm to a bowl of warm Campbell's chicken noodle soup. I hope that analogy sums up why a game like Resident Evil 2 feels so comfortable for me.
I'm gonna beat that bitch ass. The fuck out of me, little ugly bitch.
But beyond just RE2, spending an afternoon playing through a short game you've beaten a million times is always so chill. Muscle memory pretty much just takes over and you're just there to go along with the ride. I don't even know how many times I've replayed games like Mega Man X 1 through 4, DKC, Mario 64, Super Metroid, or Mirror's Edge. These are all really short experiences you could probably knock out in one sitting. And after all the sittings my goofy ass has had with them, they become so predictable and comfortable. Some nights when I'm feeling all bored and antisocial, I love to fire some of these bad boys up, put on some Malcolm in the Middle in the background, maybe brew up some warm tea and just relax. Sometimes I need something reliable that'll just hit the spot, like a big greasy burger. But if I'm looking for some high quality food that'll take me 40 hours to eat, I can always rely on basically any of the Yakuza games, and spend some quality time with my favorite mob dad. There's nothing quite like wandering the streets of Kamurocho. One minute you're beating the shit out of some grown men in diapers, the next you might pull up to Club Sega for some Virtua Fighter, then maybe hit up some karaoke and passionately belt out a few classics. Each Yakuza game has its own microcosm of content, giving you a seemingly endless amount of fun things to do and people to meet. With all of these games tied together by intense crime drama stories that will have you on the edge of your seat until the credits roll. But the best part about all this is that you can take everything at your own pace. If you don't feel like advancing the story, you're totally free to mess around and do whatever wacky ass minigame you want, getting totally engrossed in the city through all of its insane sub-stories. These are always the best part of the game. You'll just be wandering around on the street and suddenly, boom, you gotta protect Michael Jackson from zombies during a music video. You never really know what's gonna happen, and that not only fleshes out the character of Kamurocho, but also our boy Kiryu Kazuma. This dude can without a doubt splatter you across the floor, but on the other hand, he's got this overwhelming warmth and kindness to him that really contributes to the heart and coziness of the series. He just wants to be a good dad to his adoptive daughter, help out good, honest people with their problems, race tiny stock cars and get really into arcade games, and above all, uphold his tight code of honor. For instance, Kiryu has been on that pacifist route his whole life, and has never killed anybody. I think it's probably clear to most of you by now that some of the most comfy games for me are ones that I can just let play out. I love it when a game lets me get immersed in a story and the dynamics between its characters, letting me chill out while it does its thing for a bit. One example might be the Metal Gear Solid series, where the tactical espionage action is pretty top-notch all around, but you know I'm always coming back for those 40-minute exposition-filled pseudo-philosophical-ass cutscenes and epic nut-tapping moments. Playing through these games is like gaping into the dark abyss of Kojima's twisted mind. I've talked to a lot of old losers who hate when games try to be all cinematic like this, feeling like it goes against the inherent strengths of an interactive medium. But for one, my opinions are based and objective, and two, I feel like games have a fun ability to completely immerse us in a story in ways that other mediums can't. Even just a little bit of interactivity and agency go a long way in bringing these worlds to life, with cutscenes offering a time to chill and smell the roses. This is why I still get a kick out of setting my controller down, only to watch a feature-length cutscene about my boy Revolver Ocelot. And also why visual novels and adventure games have so much value in my eyes. These games are 100% focused on letting you relax and take the story in at your own pace. For instance, I love Kojima's old visual novels, The Silver Case and 25th Ward, Danganronpa, Sam and Max. You're not there to put your sticky gamer hands to the test, but to take in the world and scenarios presented to you. What if you're looking for a super comfy, feel-good, yet incredibly satisfying adventure game? I gotta suggest the Ace Attorney series, specifically the Phoenix Wright trilogy because I've actually played those. But I know what you're thinking. I was in 7th grade too once.
This game is like Danganronpa for normies.
True, but just give that first trial a shot and you'll be hooked for life. In Ace Attorney, you investigate various wacky crime scenes with your cool assistant, so you can proceed to the dope trial sections for some insane sexual tension. I mean courtroom tension, and hopefully save your innocent client from a lifetime in prison. There is nothing more satisfying on this planet than catching these dumbasses lying on the stand and making them wish they were never born, with the music swelling up and the court wildin'. Whether it be just you chilling at the office or investigating, the goofy writing and warm energetic soundtrack make these games worth playing alone, even without the exciting court sections. Just grab yourself some hot coffee or some hot orange juice for my Mormon pals out there and unwind some classic murder mystery shenanigans. I would have mentioned some obvious ones like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, but I haven't played those games and I'm not gonna lie to you guys like I have. I was hoping that through this video I'd be able to pinpoint exactly what makes a game cozy for me in general, but now I'm even more confused. I feel like I get those warm fuzzies from simple, story-driven experiences that require minimal input, but at the same time I end up getting that same vibe from games like Resident Evil 2 and Mega Man X4, so maybe I'm a weirdo, I don't know.
I hope you enjoyed your visit. But as for me, I think I'm ready for my long winter's nap. Have a good night, Fish Gang. Happy Hanukkah! Merry Christmas!